two guys that myself and Tommy know very well. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. Currently, the second most successful tag team walking the planet, and only I can throw in a dig like that and get the laughs that I'm getting out of them right now. Friends of ours, friends of the show, current TNA superstars and superstars, no matter where they perform, all over the world. Matt and Jeff Hardy, my brothers, thank you for joining me and Tommy on Busted Open this morning.
Thank you so much, man. It's so great to be here. And we're a little older, but we're working hard. We're trying to get as decorated as you and DJ. Yeah.
Matt, we've had you on the show a bunch of times. Jeff, we don't get to talk to you as much. So, how are you doing, brother? How's life? What's going on? Talk to us.
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I'm crazy excited about being back in TNA. We had a match with First Class a few weeks ago, and that match did a lot for my morale, my confidence. It really boosted it and made me excited about the future and this run for us in TNA.
We broke out some new moves actually in this match, and they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, we're putting that to bed.
Bub,
Guys,
I got the best seat in the house for the Hardys, and for those that watch them on act, they are like everything they are talked about. They're rejuvenated, they're inspired. I watched their body of work. I mean, Matt just turned 50 yesterday, and these are two guys that we grew up watching the Hardys, but it's also like we also grew up watching the Hardys' bodies get destroyed. They're in the best shapes of their lives and tearing it up each and every night. It's awesome to see. Like we are just talking, it's inspiring. And then the after of all this, dude, I've seen it where they tear it up, 20-minute matches, having all this stuff, and then they have to go and they sign autographs. And the lines that we are getting for them in San Antonio we had over 2,000 people, right? Sold out. And I literally think everyone just stood up and then went right to their autograph. It was like everyone who was there had to get a Hardy meet and greet. And it's an experience. They take their time. And I think I know they were there longer than the actual show. You guys were there for like 4 hours.
guys,
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit. Like, what type of experience do you try to provide for Hardy fans when they come and visit you at your merchandise table?
Oh, I mean, you know how it is too, Bubba. Like we're generational talents now, right? We have like kids, we have dads that watch this when they were younger, and now their kids watch, and we're generational talents where we touch, multiple generations. And they come up, they want to share a story about how they watch, WrestleMania 17 and the first TLC. That was their bonding point, and they saw, us and you guys and Edge and Christian, and that match changed them. They became wrestling fans from then on out, and they always supported us, and it made them love tag team wrestling. People just sometimes want to talk and share their story with whatever it is and how it changed their life or it molded them in somewhere capacity. And we like to listen to them, and we're very grateful. If anyone ever has a Hardy Boys tattoo, we want to see it. We want to take a picture, because that's like the ultimate compliment. You're getting a tattoo, something that is permanent, that represents us, and it's important to your life. So we just have a great bond with fans, and Jeff goes out of his way. Like when he does an autograph, it's like art. It really is, because there's a face in it. And I think we just established so much equity with wrestling fans over the year. They know they're going to have a good experience with us.
I'm really proud of Matt for exercising the power of patience at these things, because he's been really cool and modest and laid back, down to earth, all that good stuff right there with me. And yeah, it's such a good feeling to feel and experience all that love that we still have from the hardcore Hardy fans.
Because also at the end of the day, we're all still fans.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I, we talk wrestling all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think too, being a wrestling fan, those are the people that turn out to be the best wrestlers, especially when you're professionalism. You talk about professionalism, interacting with people, because we know if we would have met one of our guys back in the day and they had shared a great experience with us and we loved it, we'd be a lifelong fan. And that's what we try and do for the people that support us.
In a weird way, you did meet one of your guys and it became part of the act early on. Yeah. Talk about meeting Michael P.S. Hayes and, establishing a relationship with him, a camaraderie with him, a friendship with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. We were huge fans of the Freebirds. We ended up going back and watching World Class, and we loved the original pairing. But when we first became diehard fans, we loved him with Jimmy Garvin. We loved their whole shtick, and I mimicked him so much. And it's so cool that we got to know him and become friends with him. And he really was like he's a wrestling daddy. We still call him that. We still stay in contact with him. No one taught us more about pro wrestling than he did. He was very hands on, and we're super grateful to have had Michael in our lives and careers.
I've been secretly watching some matches from the 80s, like Von Erich's Freebirds. And oh my God, I'm just so excited to kind of recycle some of that stuff and bring it back to life this older and this far into our careers. So yeah, and Michael Hayes, I mean, for God's sake, that's where the juke came from. He used to do it before he'd make the tag. And I was like, well, there's something to that.
Guys, let's talk about the current state of TNA. We have all been in TNA at some of its highest points and some of its lowest points, and we've all gone through some low points in TNA. When I went back to TNA approximately 2 years ago, I was so pleasantly surprised by the product, the locker room, the almost not an ounce of negativity backstage, the positive vibe, what Scott D'Amore was able to do in turning the company around, changing the locker room around, and even now that Scott's left, what Tommy's been able to continue to do, along with Gail and the rest of the company. Talk about this version of TNA and why the Hardys and TNA fit so well together as of right now.
It really is. You said pleasant. It is an incredibly pleasant locker room. And I feel like everybody there is working for the greater good of just the betterment of TNA. I think it works so well for myself and Jeff right now as it sounds crazy that we say this, but we're all in the legend category, right? You know what I mean, Baba? And whenever people consider you legends, it's weird to say that to yourself sometimes, but they utilize us like legends. They treat us that way appropriately, and they put us in positions to succeed. And that's what you do with an act like us. And it's so great working with Tommy there because Tommy is someone who legitimately knows me and my passions and what makes me tick. And then when he's talking about kind of what he thinks Jeff would say or do here, he knows how Jeff is. He knows how weird and strange and unique Jeff is. And it's been an absolute blast working with you, Tommy. And we really are grateful for it.
Oh, yeah, man, I love you guys.
Yeah, this time we love you too. This time when I came back, just real quick, I was too busy painting a chair, so I didn't even think about what I might say if I got a microphone. But I ended up saying, heaven had it out for me all along, which is from one of my older songs. But then I said, and TNA is my new heaven. But now that I've kind of got to know everybody and I'm comfortable in the locker room, I know exactly what I meant by that.
Yeah, and Bob, you know this, and Matt. Whenever we're talking with Jeff, he'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Jeff just pretty much went with, hey, Jeff, we're going to throw you off the top of a ladder. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff now like, hey, Jeff, what do you want to do? Or like he texts me, man, I had this dream. I had this vision. You're inspired. And an inspired Jeff Hardy. We always say Jeff Hardy is in his cell, he's magical. But now Jeff with his mind and when his like busting out new moves at 50 years old, it's such a joy to watch. It's a pleasure. And I remove myself from being, a fan of them personally. I just watch them professionally. I'm like, man, I'm blown away with their body of work. It's awesome to see and to work with. And it inspires a locker room. And just like you guys had it with Michael P.S. Hayes, they are helping younger talent as well, like, working with ABC and dealing with people that are on the cusp of greatness for their careers as well.
Yeah. And, that's one of our big goals. We want to give back to the next generation and just like Tommy and crew at TNA, they've just been putting us in smart positions, like, situations where we can succeed and be successful and we can remain relevant and like this rock star legendary act, but still help other people continue to climb and let them beat the Hardys or let them be competitive with the Hardys or let them hang with the Hardys, whatever the case is. But that's important to us too. A lot of people back when all of us were breaking in, the vets weren't too big on giving back to all the guys so much. So that has changed a lot, and that's something that's important to Jeff and I too.
How do you guys feel about the current state of tag teams when it comes to negotiating a match, putting something together that you know is going to be exciting? Do you feel like there's a generational gap in the communication? Do these other teams understand exactly what you're trying to do? Do they understand your psychology? Do you get more pushback from these teams than you might have gotten from teams in the past?
Uh, Everybody at TNA has really been on board with stuff, and we'll just kind of sit back, we'll have a conversation. And I think the thing that we stress and the thing you realize as you get older and beat up, the moments are so much more important than the moves at the end of the day. And that's what, when we're trying to tell a story, specifically in a match, we're trying to, figure out the moments we need, and then we can kind of fill the moves in as we go. But everybody has been absolutely great there to work with. There's been no bad dealings at all.
Yeah, yesterday I was saying, you know what, this weekend's going to be great. It's going to be a busy week. There's a lot to do, but I think we got two or possibly three new tag team maneuvers to bust out. But it's really more of like moves that are a combination of moves we've done in the past. And yeah, I think I fully got three after working out this morning and then pitching them to Matt in the car ride earlier. And I'm 99% sure they're going to work and they're going to be beautiful.
So you said something interesting. You said thinking of these moves and pitching them to Matt, which reminds me of a conversation that we've had here on Busted Open about every great tag team needs a leader and a follower. And sometimes when you hear the word follower, it has like a negative connotation, but not in my eyes, because a great follower in the team is as important as the great leader, because you have to be able to complement one another. Is there a definitive leader and follower in the Hardys?
I don't know. Whenever I break it down, I usually say like I'm the architect and he is the rock star. Those are our strengths and what we do best. So yeah, it is so cool. Jeff's just like, he'll run stuff by me. He'll get wild ideas, and I love the fact that he like has these creative juices flowing now more than ever. And you can just tell. I think we feel it, and I think it comes off when we do interviews and whatnot. We're really happy with what we're doing right now. We're really happy with how we're being treated, and just everything we've done at TNA has been an absolute blast.
I look at missed opportunities, right? I'll never forget I was there. Hardy's, Edge and Christian, Bubba Devon, Hall of Fame. I was like, man, what a great moment. And I know Bully was trying to pitch something for all you guys, or like a tour, or try to bring it back one more time. Then it went to like, okay, this person's gone, that person's gone. And then in AEW, it's like Edge and Christian are there and the Hardys are there. It never gets revisited. And like, it's like, that's over now. There's no match that could be had, or a variation of that, because, Devon really can't wrestle anymore. Adams, they're in other companies. Like, are you upset about that? Because I know it bothers me.
I think we did hope we could have interaction with Adam and Jay while we're in AEW. I mean, I don't even know if that's like having some major feud or whatever, but I just think the interaction between the four of us would have been very iconic and something that people would have liked to have seen if we could have done that in some capacity. And I've said this before. A lot of people said, like, in a perfect world, what would be your final match? And in some ways, one of our most perfect final matches would be myself and Jeff versus Edge and Christian, and just everybody kind of ended there, because we we help put each other in the map, on the map in that tag team ladder match. And then obviously, the Dudleys walked into the room, and we started doing the TLC stuff, and that's a staple that will live on forever. But like, as you said, Devon can't necessarily wrestle now. Almost like Edge and Christian would be like our greatest final match, I feel like, because we have such a shared history together.
Yeah. It would have been a no fucking brainer to me to have you guys and Edge and Christian in the ring together in AEW. Yeah. And, when after you guys debuted there, I mean, not after you debuted, once we had Edge and Christian there at the same time as you, I even spoke with LaGreca and I said, I don't want to see them do it right now, because right now is too early. But down the road, wow, what a dream scenario Tony Khan has in his back pocket, because just having Edge and Christian and Matt and Jeff in the same ring at the same time, you're going to get your holy shit chance. You're going to get your this is awesome chance. You're going to get all of that, and you guys would never even have to touch. So talked about, creating moments and missed opportunities. There's definitely one there. Did you, Matt, as the architect, did you ever go to Tony and say, hey, when are we going to be in the ring at the same time?
We all acknowledged, I think, that we would like to share a ring together, and what in whatever capacity that may be. And that doesn't necessarily like having a match or working against one another. It was one of those things that I feel like after Jeff got hurt, Jeff had a little run of singles matches, and then he got hurt, and then I left and he left, and then just kind of the topic was never brought up again.
Yeah, and what's so interesting about that, like I was starting to feel the way I feel now about wrestling again before my nose got broke. And so I was super excited about anything possible with us in AEW. But then now being back in TNA, I'm starting to feel that again, and to avoid injury, I mean, I'm just so excited because I still love the craft dearly, and having fun again in the ring means so much. And that's where I was as a singles wrestler before I got injured. But then after my deal got extended a little bit in some spiritual, strange way or whatever, my contract ran out, and that next night was when I was able to show up at TNA with Matt to save
timing was everything on that one. That was so exciting for me.
I didn't even think about running and trying to do the juke at the same time.
Hey, Matt, we had Jeff on, and he said when he was Darby Allin kind of brought his juices back for a little bit. And then, now to hear and see what he's doing for you, what opened up for you?
As far as when I came to TNA?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got so motivated. I came and, whenever I showed up in Vegas, and it was like such a legitimate surprise. And I was talking to Ross, like I was probably very anal in doing so. I said, yes, please pick me up at the airport, and I got off the plane on a hoodie. I didn't want to be spotted. I didn't want to sign autographs or take pictures in the Vegas airport, because still, like, we've been on TV for over 25 years, we're pretty easily recognized. And I got to the building, and even whenever we walked in, I said, like, I don't want to see anyone. He said, do you want to go out and get a coffee? I was like, no, I don't. I stayed in that one little room that I was in. And when I went out because I wanted people to legitimately be surprised, because that's when wrestling's at its best, right? If you can like legitimately surprise people, and it's an unpredictable moment that they get. And then once that moment happened and started working with Moose and the system, those guys are tremendous as heels, and just we built into a great rivalry. And I love the match that myself and Moose had it Against All Odds. And we do the deal. Moose retains the title. The system are beating me down. My wife gets speared through the table. And then all of a sudden, my brother shows up. Like, it's just an incredible moment. And I'll never forget, that was a sold out venue. They were white hot all night long. And you said, like, this really looks special, because you have, like, in the ring, you have Matt Hardy, you have Jeff Hardy, you have Nic Nemeth sitting out here, you have Joe Hendry. It just looks like a bunch of stars, like, on this top layer. And it was just such a cool moment. I loved how we put that video out, and it was kind of a rah-rah TNA pep rally.
Absolutely.
Guys, your career is definitely not over, but you're on the back nine of your career. TNA and the Hardys is a great relationship right now, and there's stuff for you to do there, which is continue to help the company grow, continue to help other talents get over. But at the end of the day, I don't think any wrestling fan out there wants to see the Hardys in a TNA ring as their last match or their last moment. What is the ultimate goal for you guys? When you tip your cap and you wave goodbye and you say thank you and see you down the road, talk to me about that moment and where you'll be in that scenario.
We want to have a great tag team run. We want to feel vindicated about that. We believed in, we truly do believe in ourselves. We're confident we can have a great tag team run, and we want to cement ourselves and our legacy as one of the greatest teams to do it, and that starts, I think, with a great TNA title run. That is what our goal is. That is what we're hoping to do. We have an end game of winning the TNA World Tag Team titles. I do think at the end of the day, people would like to see us bow out in the WWE, do something, do a Hall of Fame, and kind of like wrap up our career right. Because, WWE is the place that made us. And I think that is almost where we should finish up.
Yeah,
Jeff?
I had to collect my thoughts real quick. I'll end up saying some crazy shit if I don't think about what I'm gonna say. But I got so excited when Jordan Grace, it is Jordan Grace,
Yes.
right? She showed up on NXT. I was like, whoa, I got like chills almost. And now to see what Joe Hendry's doing and the interaction between the two companies, I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So, and I don't understand it, but as far as manifestation goes, like I kind of see us, ending our careers in a WWE ring. And yeah, I hope that's possible. I feel like it is possible because it still feels like home to us. That's where our dream kind of came true as pro wrestlers. So that's where it all began. It feels right for it to end there.
At the top of the show, joking around, busting chops, second most successful tag team, blah, blah, blah. The only like real set of tag team championships that has probably eluded you, and maybe it's eluded you because you've never made a legitimate run to get them, are those IWGP New Japan World Tag Team Championships. Have you guys ever had aspirations to try to go to New Japan and capture those championships?
I think when they were doing when they had a relationship with AEW, it's something that we talked about that would be cool to do it if things worked out. But, once again, sometimes things happen for a reason. Who knows? Jeff went through a situation. He was gone for a while, and he's in the best place he's ever been in his life right now, which I love to see every single day. But as far as those tag titles go, I mean, it's pro wrestling and never say never.
Yeah, I would probably have to win and lose them in America.
Oh, I didn't even know. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't even know that. Sorry. Okay, but okay, so we can have a good laugh over it. Matt just said, you're in a good spot, and like I saw you a couple weeks ago. It was so great to see you and your family. What about this spot that you're in your life is different about the other times where you may have thought you were in a good spot in your life?
Oh, clear-minded, to be a sober, innovative Jeff Hardy. I mean, it's almost childlike, the feeling of how it felt before I ever gave in to drugs or alcohol. We were obsessed with pro wrestling. That was it. That was our main concern. And that obsession became our dream that came true as pro wrestlers. And so I feel like I'm back there in an older body, but man, I think a lot more with my heart now instead of my mind. I try my best not to let my mind play tricks on me, and the ice baths have been helping incredibly. I'm totally addicted to ice baths now instead of alcohol or drugs. And I love it. The first time I went underwater in an ice bath, I was like, whoa, there's something. It was the strangest thing. Whoa, there's something to this. It was almost like a high of some kind. But yeah, every morning I'm in the ice bath, and that's the biggest difference, is just a clean and sober Jeff Hardy. Shoot, the moon, the sky, the stars are the limit.
See, Tommy? See, if ice baths can kick Jeff of the drugs and alcohol, ice baths can kick you of pizza and cheeseburgers.
We got to take a break, Bubba.
We're crossing the streams for the first time here on Busted Open ever. So at this time, I'd like to welcome fellow co-host, fellow Hall of Famer,
fellow fat ass,
the world's strongest fat ass, Mark Henry. Mark, how are you, my brother?
I love y'all, man. Hey, this is really warming my heart. See, think about all of the days, guys, we started together at the Funkin' Dojos and all of the stuff when they first started developmental wrestling. Like, I might have started it, but within a month later, I had you and Matt. I had Edge and Christian. We had Val Venus. We like all of these guys, like, we came up together.
Yeah.
And here we are, man, old people now.
Yes, sir.
Seasoned. So, Mark, thanks for joining us. So, the five of us have not been in the same place at the same time in God knows how long. What I wanted to talk about And Mark and Tommy, we have talked about this on the show. I think we might have even done a master's class about it. And this is kind of like a live master's class. Is life after the WWE and what it's like and how you survive and more importantly, how you thrive in wrestling. So Matt and Jeff, when was the first time you guys parted ways with WWE?
First, Jeff, you were first, right?
Yeah, it was early. I think we had signed a 5-year deal, and I think I might have made it 3 years, if 2.5. And
Oh, you made it further than that. We signed in '98, like 2003. You were released, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Jeff, in 2003, you were released. Do you remember your immediate thoughts upon getting the release?
Yeah, for sure. They want me to go to rehab, and I don't need it. That was that denial of a drug addict. That was exactly what happened. And so, yeah, that was mine. But then you stuck around for a while.
Yeah, I was there through 2005, and then I was fired for a few weeks in 2005 until I came back and did the thing with Adam, right? I remember being motivated after being released, like, okay, well, I'll go do something else, which was TNA, and I was speaking to TNA, and I was almost going to do that, but I ended up getting rehired a few weeks back, and I got a raise, which is crazy because of how viral the stuff got over at that time.
Jeff, remind me, after the release, did you go do indies? Did you go work for another company immediately? Did you go to TNA immediately?
I think it was about a year, and I didn't wrestle at all. And a little after that year, I got a call from Jeff Jarrett to work AJ Styles, in the early TNA days, and that was when I resurfaced and kind of reemerged in pro wrestling.
So what was life like for you, Jeff, during that year? Was it just a lot of home life? Did you lose your love for wrestling? Did you think about wrestling anymore? Did you have the urge to wrestle?
No, not for that year. I'm still to this day a huge motocross, supercross fan, and I think I enjoy building tracks more than riding them. That's when I really did a lot of work on my motocross track, and I was in love with motocross again, racing from time to time. But yeah, that call from Jeff Jarrett was when I finally said, okay, yeah, I need to go back to wrestling.
I would, I mean, this is for life after. We all have cemented our legacies where, I mean, hell, if the Hardys just want to do the autograph circuit, they will live forever with that. But there's more to it. It's the motivation. It's the clarity. And I'm talking, we all always would go by that Road Warrior pop, but I go by the Hardy pop because their return at WrestleMania was the loudest pop I've ever heard in my life. We were talking about the secrecy of all that stuff, going on behind the scenes. And then when you guys leave from there, I think this is most relevant because then Mark had left. Bully's in and out. Who knows what he's Bubba Koreshing about with his inner workings and deals. So, like, for you guys, is it inspiration to show? I can't even say it's a mistake because you left on mutual terms. Or is it to show, like, I know now it's like, hey, man, we still got it. But, like, what do you think, like, for other people, too, the end-all, be-all game is? Because for us, it's never been retiring.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there just is, I think for us now, we want to change, we want to evolve, and we want to show people like we're at an advanced age, but, we have altered our game plan enough that we can still go to the ring and come off as rock stars. That's kind of what we're shooting for. And it just, I love the fact that you and all of the management in TNA, everyone from Ariel on down has been great. And they really let us go do us. And they get that, and that's when we feel our best. And we're really treated in a certain way, like our legacy and the stuff, our history matters. And that's what makes it so special. I think for us, it is just to prove that we are still one of the greatest tag teams that has ever done this. Like we said, a title run is very important to us, and we want to get it somewhere. And we're hoping TNA is going to be the place right now.
Bully asked a question earlier about life after WWE and leaving. I want to get back to that. And I know what it was like for me. I was completely done wrestling. Like I felt like I had done everything I wanted to do, and now I wanted to help out. I wanted to teach. I wanted to be an administrator, executive. Did y'all ever feel that, or you still have that driving passion to create art and masterpieces in the ring?
I'm still driven to do that right now, and I grew up loving wrestling and it was my dream to do it. So like, I obviously want to do it as long as I can because I feel like if you're doing this and you're doing it on a level where you can legitimately hang with, the younger guys or whatever, I want to do it as long as I can. But whenever that in-ring work is done, yes, I would absolutely still want to be involved in wrestling and be, a coach or an agent or do creative, whatever it may be. I'm a wrestling for lifer guy, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for me, music, my first song that I've ever really written and kind of liked was Modest, which was my first theme for TNA. And it means so much when there's been several people at meet and greets that come up to me and say, "Oh man, when you showed up, well, we were waiting to hear Modest." And just the hardcore TNA fans are aware of that song. And my last run in TNA, I think it was 6 different theme songs within 6 years at Bound for Glory. It was a different song every year. And God, I'm just so grateful that TNA allowed me to do that. And with music, like the evolution of my voice as a singer, getting sober this time was really scary because the more I was singing out in front of people, I was going, oh my God, I might need to stop doing this. Fuck, they're right. I can't sing. I started doubting myself a lot, but something's happening slowly to where I'm evolving as a singer. For example, I just listened to like all the old TNA themes this morning, and man, if I go in and re-sing those songs again, they will be so much better. And that's very exciting for me to continue to do what I love and translate what the music's telling me to write, and just become the best singer I possibly can be, and find my own, which I have my own genreless kind of style anyway. But something's happening slowly in it, and I'm improving. So I'm very patiently excited about that.
Hey, Mark, just to give you and peel back the curtain, when it was Matt versus Moose in Chicago, I'm the producer. Rebby is a little bit away from me, Matt's wife, and Matt goes and he takes off that shirt. And when that shirt goes, it's the heart, and women, and like you hear the calls, like screaming on top of their lungs. And I go, Hardy Pop, listen to those girls. And Rebby shoots me a look. I go, I'm sorry, I love you, right? And then she gives me the finger, and then she's got to run out to beat up Alicia. And I was just like, yes, because he still got that. I go, you better give him that Hardy lovins tonight. She's like, I hate you, Dreamer. Rebby, I love you. And now let me tell you about moments, because I live for them. And Mark, you were in San Antonio. I wish you were able to stay for the match. Jeff goes, and I mean, it was like rock starish. And I watched their whole match from the crowd just because I love to feel that emotion. Yeah. And they were in a 6-person match, and Jeff goes on the apron, and when he takes off his shirt, and there was just like he arched back, and like I got hit with this wave of love and energy of this pop, and I'm like, holy crap, like everything he, like what embodies a superstar is in this moment. It's a painting in my head that will last forever. And then like he just takes off that shirt in that same wave, but it's guys and girls. And then when he goes to top rope, I'm like, Jeff's in the best shape I've ever seen him physically. I was like, how did he used to get that pop when he didn't look so good? So again,
Tommy, when you take your shirt off, there's a wave of something too. It's called nausea.
I am really mad right now because Mark Henry.
I stole it from you, buddy.
Mark Henry beat. Oh my God! Tommy, stand up. Tommy, stand up. I dare you to stand up. Tommy Dreamer just. Oh my God! Tommy Dreamer and Mark Henry are now shirtless. Oh my God!
Come on, buddy, take it off.
No,
come on, take it off.
I'm not having a pose down with you guys right now.
Take it off. Take it off.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. Henry Pop.
Mark Henry looking amazing. World's strongest man. Damn. Guys, I'm going to ask you getting back to the life after WWE conversation. I'm going to ask you the same question, but I'm looking for two separate answers. You guys were created in the WWE, had life within the WWE, left WWE. If a talent came up to you and went through the same thing that you did, was created there, had a career there, a successful career there, but one day found themselves out of the company, what is the number one piece of advice you would give them on how to survive outside of the WWE? Jeff, you go first.
Before I forget it, that moment Tommy was talking about, I actually kind of went Hogan in 10. I ripped the shirt off. And I don't think I've ever done that before, but it did. It felt so good.
But even the way you took it off, dude, seriously, man, like I wish I'm trying to verbally communicate how cool, like just the way you arched your back up, and like it was just like, and you know me, I'm weird with wrestling, right? But it's just like you gave me such a magical moment where I was like, wow, like that's Jeff Hardy, and like you're my friend, but like in that moment you were the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy. Like it's beautiful. It was beautiful in its moment, and then there's that rush of satisfaction by the fans. I mean, this is what we live for.
Yes.
But I got to experience it as a fan, and I don't get those moments, but you gave that to me.
Oh, very cool, man. As far as in today's time, and like if you were in the WWE, then you leave. For example, it makes me think of a kid, that grew up around us, Trevor Lee.
Mm-hmm.
When we were training, he was a newborn baby, man. And but just to watch on social media what he's doing, like hitting all the indies and all these shows and having killer matches, just to know that it's, WWE is not the end all be all. I mean, there is life outside of WWE. You just got to, believe in yourself and go out there and get it. And today with social media, I think is a huge difference compared to the way it was naturally when we started. But yeah, just to believe in yourself and know that there are other places to go.
Yeah, and I think too, like if you're someone who's left WWE and someone was leaving WWE after they were made there and they became successful there, I just think it's important to have the confidence to bet on yourself and just know that it's not necessarily the specific wrestling promotion. Just anywhere you go, you can thrive and you can change things up and you can evolve and you can do stuff different and you really put in the work it takes to make yourself and bet on yourself. And always, if you go out and bet on yourself and you become successful and get over, you'll end up back where you want to be. That's one thing that's beautiful about this business.
I think two things to come out of this is one, sobriety is the key to life. But then if we're looking at you, Matt, you are the epitome of, if I'm using it correctly, change. Like the broken Matt Hardy character, but you went all in on your social media of this new character. Like how, like, was it just thinking outside the box, or was because you were broken and then you're rebuilding yourself?
I actually came up with, I just, at that time, I was actually watching True Blood at that, myself and Rebby, we were watching it. And I was just going, man, this is so cool how like a vampire in theory could live for 1,000 years, right? And you see them in different periods where I said they have an easy evolution because, hairstyles change, clothing styles change and whatnot. It's like, that'd be so cool if you could be like an immortal character and then you could have ways to change. But obviously, we're not immortal, we're all mortal. And I said, what if I became a character that was crazy and I realized like I was able to be in touch with my soul, which I called my essence. And I know where that soul has been body to body. And it's like the age of the soul is what you're portraying more than anything else. And that was kind of like the whole build of Broken Matt Hardy. That way I'm 2,000 years old, not necessarily my body. I'm just in a vessel, but my soul is. And then I pulled from like Dexter and True Detective, some of the stuff Matthew McConaughey did, Salad Fingers, a crazy cartoon. And I said, really, like the guys are so athletic and so talented now, and they're smaller. And, I can't wrestle like I did 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I said, so what if I try and be more theatrical and more performative? And I did kind of a throwback to like the Papa Shango Undertaker stuff when he first started. And I said, either people will buy in that I am this supernatural character because something has happened, my brain is opened up, or they'll think I'm crazy. Either way, I'll make it work.
And you did.
This question is for all of y'all. And you could be brief too. Don't draw it out. Did you ever think in all the years that you were wrestling that you didn't know something, and then once you get to a certain age, you realize, damn, I have an answer for just about everything that somebody asked me. When did you get the realization that you knew way more than you thought you did?
I'm still learning. I take from Terry Funk all the time, where he's like, "The day you stop learning is the day you need to leave the industry." But to have an answer, I just had it with creatively with somebody, and they were like, "Well, what to do?" Is I said, "Cool, I'm going to do it your way. If you're wrong, I will never do it your way. If I'm right, cool. They were right. Their way worked." And I was like, "Cool, thank you for that suggestion, man. I was wrong. Your idea was better than mine."
Bully?
I'm a savant. I've been the smartest guy in the room since day one.
Truth.
Okay. Matt, Jeff, please save us. Please save us.
You truly never stop learning. And I think you try and change with the times, you try and evolve. And I think probably the most important thing that I think of is just trying to stay up to date and on the pulse of like what is current and what is popular in pop culture, this, that, and the other thing, because that's what's so important, because you're always playing to different demographics of viewers and whatnot. And I think especially as we get older, it's not as easy, especially when you have a bunch of kids like me. I have a gaggle of children. It's not as easy to stay on top of things. So I just do my best to try and stay informed and make smart decisions, so I seem current and not like an old ass boomer.
Jethro?
Yeah, I just, it makes me think of like politics and pro wrestling back in '08 and '09 when I was bigger than Obama. I never had to do anything. I was just, the people love me, and I've always had that connection with the people. But like, I guess this last time getting sober, my mind started going, oh my God, wait, now I see what these politics are. As far as you develop these ideas, you get them and you pitch them to try to get a spot or take somebody else's spot or whatever. So now I kind of understand that. But yeah, until this time getting sober, I never really paid attention to politics whatsoever, or never cared about it, and I just can't wait for this current political race to be over, man. I'm tired of the commercials.